it is time to join together again and have some fun. I hope you are in the mood for a little bit of fun today, because we are doing it. We are having some fun today on the live chat. It is English Addict, and my piece of music that you just heard really should have been part of the Eurovision Song Contest last night. I think it would have won, to be honest. Here we are again. It is English Addict coming to you live on a beautiful sunny day. You can see the sunlight is now going down upon the landscape of the birthplace of the English language. We know where it is. You know where it is. We all know where it is. Come on, Mr. Duncan, get on with it. It is England.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun.
I really hope we can have some fun today. Here we are again, back together. Hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling good today? I hope you have one of these on your face, a lovely big smile, because we are back together again. It is lovely here. We have sunshine, and you know what happens when the sun comes out? Everyone feels happy. I don't know what it is, but whenever the sun comes out and everyone is getting together, especially during this time of year, a lot of people like to get together in a group. Quite often, friends will get together. However, you may have noticed it is not easy these days to make friends. It is definitely not as easy as it used to be to actually make friends, find friends. Do you have many friends? Do you have lots of friends? We often refer to the circle of friends, the people around us with whom we are friendly. Maybe we know them well. Maybe we know them from a distance. There are many different types of friendships that exist. We are here today talking about lots of things, and how easy is it to find a friend? Because of course we live in the day and age of the internet, social media, and it would appear, well, maybe it is an illusion. So from my point of view, I always see it as an illusion that it is easy to find friends through the internet. I think it is just as hard to find someone to know well through the internet as it is in day-to-day life when you are meeting people face to face. So from my point of view, you might have your own opinion, you might have your own point of view. I think it is hard to find friends, to make friends. That is why I love doing this. I like doing this because it is a good way of meeting new people, finding new connections with people around you, especially if you have similar interests. So if your interests are similar to other people's, you find it easier to make a connection with them. I think so. We often refer to it as mutual connections or mutual interests. Something that is mutual is something that goes together. Two things go together quite well. Mutual. For example, two people might have similar interests. We can describe those interests as being mutual, similar, the same even. So all of that coming up later on. And yes, we are back together. It is Sunday. Another Sunday has arrived, and it is really nice to have your company. A busy week. I was out and about. On Friday, we went over to Shrewsbury again. Some people say Shrewsbury. Other people say Shrewsbury. It is a big topic of debate in this area. That is all I can say about that. People do have arguments and fights over the correct pronunciation. Is it Shrewsbury or is it Shrewsbury? To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. Here we are again. Live chat is also with us today on this glorious day. By the way, I need your sympathy today because I am going to the dentist on Friday. As you know, I don't like the dentist very much. I'm not a big fan of the dentist, if I was honest with you. In recent times, my teeth, or at least the health of my teeth, has become very important to me, especially when you appear on camera. And one of the things you do find, if you do this as your job, you find that you become more aware of your appearance. Certain things you will concentrate on much more than you normally would. Your appearance. Teeth. They are very important for many reasons. They help you chew your food, but also they give you that twinkle as well when you smile. So I do have the dentist on Friday. I am going to see my lovely hygienist, and hopefully everything will be all right. I hope so. Even though I don't like the dentist, I don't like going there. It all comes from my childhood. Once upon a time, my parents took me to the dentist, and I had 10 teeth removed. 10. Can you imagine that? Having 10 teeth pulled out at the same time. So it did cause me quite a lot of trauma. Over the years, I stopped going to the dentist. I really did feel afraid. I was scared of going to the dentist. So I have that coming my way on Friday. I know I should not be afraid. Mr. Duncan, don't be afraid. It is for your health. It's a little bit like hospitals. I don't like hospitals. Even if I'm visiting someone in hospital, even if I'm not the patient, I still don't like hospitals. There is something about the sound, the smell, the atmosphere of a hospital that always leaves me feeling a little cold and even afraid. To be honest with you, I think that is a normal response, if I was honest with you. Anyway, we are here together. It is lovely to have your company today. We have the live chat. Who is first on the live chat today? Oh, very interesting. We have Beatrice. Congratulations, you are first on today's live chat. Well done to Beatrice. We also have Barry Wood. Hello, Barry Wood. Would you really? Would you? Barry Wood, apparently. Christina is here. I know you are very excited at the moment, Christina, because we are meeting up. We are meeting in 2 weeks from today. We will all be in London. More details about that later on. We also have Flower, Espoir. Hello, Flower. It is nice to have your company here today. And of course, he is here. It is the one, the only, you know who I'm talking about. Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to have your company once more. And it is always good to have you here joining English Addict, as it is with everyone. No matter where you are in the world, you are more than welcome. A lot of people this morning here in the UK are talking about the Eurovision Song Contest. It has been going for 70 years. And every year it causes controversy, arguments, disagreements, political differences come out during the Eurovision Song Contest. The UK, the United Kingdom, came last. Of course, the contest took place last night. In last place with just 1 point, the United Kingdom. Well done to Bulgaria. Bulgaria were first, they were top. So next year, the Eurovision Song Contest will be in Bulgaria. That should be interesting. But of course, any of these things, contests, competitions, all of these things, if they are on an international stage, quite often politics will become part of that thing. People's feelings, views, their attitudes towards certain places, countries, people will all come out during these particular things. So a lot of people this morning are talking about the Eurovision Song Contest and saying, don't worry UK, don't worry United Kingdom, do not worry, you will have another chance next year. Can I say also hello to Irene? Irene, hello Irene, it's nice to have you here again. Saturino is here as well. Who else is here? Claudia. Claudia, how was your rendezvous last week with your relatives? Did you have a nice time? Did your friend enjoy their birthday as well? Because you were busy over the past couple of weeks. You've been doing lots of things. So hello, Claudia. And I suppose I should ask you a very important question. This is, of course, the question I ask every week. And I'm always interested to find out one particular thing.
What's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in your pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in your pot?
What is in your pot today, Claudia? Please let us know on the live chat. And then I can tell everyone who is watching right now. I hope you are enjoying something delicious today. What is in your pot, Claudia? Come on, let us know. Don't keep it a secret. What are you cooking today in your pot? Please let us know. Claudia is doing a lot of things, apparently. Today I have chocolate cake in the oven. Something sweet. Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was trying to lose weight, trying to get myself fit for various reasons. First of all, the doctor told me that I had to eat less food, to cut down on the amount of unhealthy food that I eat. Chocolate cake in the oven sounds very nice. Claudia, I hope you enjoy it very much. Irene, hello Irene, who is very well today apparently. That is very nice to hear. I'm always happy to hear when you are feeling well. Even if you are not feeling well, you can tell me. You can say, Mr. Duncan, I'm not feeling too well today. I'm not feeling happy. Hopefully being here will help you feel better. There are a lot of things going on around at the moment. It is a strange period of time in the world. Lots of things are occurring. One of the things I am fascinated with, and you might say fascinated by, interested in, something you really find intriguing. I like that word, intriguing. Something that is intriguing is something that you find interesting. You want to find out more about it. Of course, over the past 4 or 5 years, we have been talking all about artificial intelligence. I don't know if you've caught it, but on YouTube at the moment, there is a live stream featuring robots. They are all working in one place together. They are not being controlled by human beings. They are doing this particular task on their own. And it has been running for nearly 4 days without a break. So have you seen it? Have you seen the robots? It is a type of test where the robots are being made. They have been programmed to carry out certain tasks. And this particular thing is now live on YouTube. And I have to say, I have become quite interested in that particular thing. Anything to do with technology is always interesting, but this is really interesting because it is giving us a sort of taste of the future. It is giving us a sense of what is coming when machines start to do more and more jobs. So have you seen it? Have you seen the robots on the rather unusual live stream that is on YouTube at the moment? Because a lot of people ask, Mr. Duncan, what do you watch on YouTube? I watch all sorts of things, including live streams involving robots carrying out certain tasks. Can I say hello to the live chat? It is lovely to have you here. Thank you very much for joining me today. We have a lot of people joining in. Don't forget, every Sunday I am with you. And of course, this is a very good opportunity for me to mention that we are meeting up in London in a few days from now. Hopefully I can put it up on the screen. Here we go. So 2 weeks from now, we will be meeting up in London on Sunday, the 31st of May. We will be getting together in London town, even though technically it isn't a town. But we will be together in London 2 weeks from today. If you are coming along, are you excited? I hope so. So we are in London over the weekend. So from the 30th and also the 31st. However, we will be meeting up on the 31st of May for the rendezvous, and we will be also doing a live stream as well from the capital city. So I hope you will be joining us in person or on the internet. I really hope you can join us on that day, because the thing is, I know a lot of people watch my live stream in England. So you are watching right now in this country. Now is the chance for you to meet up in person. There will be some of us meeting up. We know who they are, and you know who you are. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to meeting up in 2 weeks from now. I mentioned a few moments ago that we were having a lovely walk around Shrewsbury a couple of days ago, and I thought it would be lovely to show you some of the sights that we saw on Friday whilst we were walking around. It is amazing how many different colours of rhododendron there are around. Pink, purple, white, and also orange as well. So there it was, the beautiful sights that we saw on Friday as we were walking around a place called the Dingle. I think that's a great name for a place. The Dingle is the place where that beautiful lake and also all of those wonderful flowers and trees are as well in Shrewsbury. We had a wonderful time, and it's always good to get out when the weather is nice, I have to say. We have some big news, by the way, for you concerning this place in which I live. Some very big news coming up in a moment. If you like animals, if you like nature, then you are in for a treat a few moments from now. We are playing Guess the Object. Are you ready to have a look at today's object? We have an interesting object, something that you see often. Perhaps in your own language, you have your own word for this particular thing. And that is the reason why I do this. That is the reason why we play this game. So I often think it is good to show something on screen for people to look at and things we can talk about as well. So here it is then, today's object. But what is it? It is today's mystery object. Come on, Mr. Duncan, show us the object. Put it on the screen so we can have a look. Here it is then, today's mystery object. It is something we use often. In fact, I was using it on Friday and also last Thursday as well. I was using this. In fact, I was using lots of these things. And there it is. What is the object? Maybe in your own language there is a word for this. And of course we have words for it as well. In fact, this particular object refers to a noun and also a verb as well. So the name of this object can also be used as a verb as well as a noun. But I suppose the big question is, what is the object? What is it? What is this thing? We often use more than one of these. We normally use them in a group, together, in a certain place, for carrying out one particular function. However, what are they called? I have a feeling that this object has lots of different names around the world. There is one particular word we use to describe this object, and it also has a very different appearance around the world. These often look different depending on where you are in the world. So perhaps this particular thing where you are looks different. It might even have a different name as well. Very interesting answers coming through already, and that is the reason why I love showing objects to you. I think it's very useful to look at things and study them and investigate or look at the words that we can use to describe them. So a lot of people are coming through with their own words. Flower, clipper. That is interesting. Clipper. So you might describe this as a type of clip, and you are right, of course. So that is one word we can use to describe this particular thing, because it does perform that action, to hold onto something, to clip on. So that is a good word to use, and yes, it can be used to describe this particular thing. Quite often in English we will use one particular word to describe this object. Clip. Also we have, an interesting answer there, pin. Mr. Duncan, pin. Yes, you could, I suppose, use the word pin to describe the action of this thing. To pin something is to hold that thing in place. You pin something in place. So I think, yes, I think you are right. You could use that particular word as well. However, here in England, we use a different word. We use a word that, as I mentioned a few moments ago, can be used as both a noun and a verb. And the word is, the object is commonly referred to as a clothes peg. Clothes peg. It basically names the action that it performs, the function that this thing has. It is used for fixing something in place. In this particular situation, we are talking about your clothes. Clothes that you are putting outside to dry. Clothes pegs are used to hang wet clothes outside to dry in the sun or during a windy day. When the sun is out and the wind is blowing, it is a perfect day for hanging out your clothes on the line. Clothes pegs are used to hang wet clothes outside to dry. Sometimes the weather is perfect for drying your clothes. So this particular object performs one simple but very important task. It allows you to hang your clothes, your wet clothes, outside. So the mystery object is a clothes peg. We often use many of them at the same time. Clothes pegs come in many shapes, materials and sizes. So you can see here there are many different types of clothes peg. Plastic, wood, small. There is even this very unusual one at the bottom. This one is called a dolly peg. And the reason why it's called that is because the design looks like a doll. If you look at the end of that particular peg, it looks like a small head and shoulders of a doll. So that particular peg is known as a dolly peg, and they are all used right now to hang up your washing. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes. As I said a few moments ago, you can use this word as a verb. So the peg can be used to peg out. You peg something. You fix something in place. You peg the washing on the clothesline. So we often use the word or the phrase peg out. You peg out the washing. You hang the washing using clothes pegs. So it is interesting sometimes how an object, the name of an object, can directly refer to the task that it performs. And I think that is a very good example of that particular situation taking place. So there it was, today's mystery object, the clothes peg. A simple thing that performs a very important task in your day-to-day lives. English Addict is with you today. It is myself, Mr. Duncan, on the live chat, and you are here as well. I hope you are enjoying today's live stream.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun.
We will, of course, have another mystery object next week. I hope you will join me for that. And don't forget, 2 weeks from today, we will be live on the streets of London. That should be very interesting with our super duper English Addict Rendezvous. Can I say hello to Korea? Hello, Korea. It is nice to have you here today. It is nice to meet you, Mr. Duncan. It is also nice to meet you as well. We have people watching all around the world. Many countries. Europe, South America. We have lots of people watching in Brazil, Argentina, for example. Across Europe, we have people watching in Italy, Spain, and of course across Asia as well. People watching in Japan, Vietnam, and Korea. We even have some people watching in China as well. They go to a lot of trouble in China to watch me because they have to do all sorts of things on their computer. Here is some big news. This week it happened. The animals have returned to the back of the house. Mr. Duncan, tell us more about the animals at the back of your house. Okay. Are they sheep or are they cows? Well, I will let my video explain all of the details. So there you go. Now you know. The sheep are back behind our house, and they do look rather unusual. They look a little bit strange because, of course, the fleece, the wool that grows on sheep is very useful for lots of different things. And each year, the farmers will take the fleece off the sheep. So that is the reason why they look rather strange. I don't know about you, but I think sheep look a little bit weird when they have no fleece. They look very unusual. And the good thing at the moment is the grass behind our house is really long. So the sheep have lots and lots of lovely fresh grass to eat. English Addict is with you today. It is a lovely day to be with you. Sunday, For many people, it is the day when they rest. Would you like to see something unusual? We went to the supermarket last week to buy some eggs. I was surprised when I opened the eggs to find that the eggs actually looked unusual. Would you like to see them? So these are the eggs that I bought last week from the supermarket. But when I got home, I wasn't sure what was going on, because for a moment I thought maybe they had given me ping pong balls instead of eggs. But apparently these are eggs. They are white eggs. I've never seen eggs with white shells. So perhaps I have a very sheltered life. But I can safely say in my life I've never come across white hen eggs. I've seen eggs that are white from other types of bird, but I've never seen white eggs. But apparently this is a certain type of egg that you can buy, and a certain type of hen will lay this particular egg. So have you ever seen white eggs, white eggshells from a hen? So this was the first time I've ever seen them, and I have to say I did get in touch with the supermarket to ask them, why are my eggs white? And they said, no, it's okay, it's all right, it's perfectly normal, they are safe to eat. But I think it's good to check, don't you think? I've never seen white hen eggs. Is it me? Is it me? Am I a person who has not lived enough? Maybe I've managed to get through 60 years without seeing a white hen's egg. Isn't that strange? It would appear that they are quite normal. Christina says, yes, I have bought that type of egg, but they are very rare. Thank you. So it isn't just me. It isn't me being fussy. They are very strange. And I noticed as well, when you break the egg, the yellow is very bright. It's almost a different colour from normal eggs. Beatrice says this particular type of egg is common in Argentina. Apparently in Argentina you will find these eggs quite common. But I have to say, here I haven't seen them before, ever in my life. Yes, it depends on what the breed of chicken is. Well, now I know. Thank you very much for your information. At least I know they are safe to eat. I mentioned a subject at the start of today's live stream, and I'm going to mention it again. Something that we often find we need in life. There is one thing we need. Now you might think, Mr. Duncan, it's food. We need food. We need water. But another thing we often find ourselves needing is friendship, friends. And that is what we are talking about over the next few moments. Friends or friendship. The joining together of people who get along, they are friends, they have a good relationship with each other. However, it would appear, even now, because we live in the age where it is easy to find friends. However, in reality, It is not so easy, even though we have the internet, even though we have many ways of getting in touch and finding people to associate with. It would appear that it's still hard to find friends. We all need a friend to spend our time with, someone to share our experiences with and create a long-term bond. Some very interesting words there. When we talk about bond, we are talking about joining together, associating with, quite often another person or a thing, maybe a company, maybe two companies. Businesses will bond, they will join together. Quite often, they will join together and become one company. But people do the same thing. We are looking quite often for someone to spend time with. We would often describe that person as our friend. However, a lot of people do complain. They say it is very difficult to find a friend. People are looking for a type of relationship, not romance. And I think it is important to recognize the difference between those two things. Friendship is not the same as romance. Romance is emotional. Romance is something you feel deeply. Maybe if you are in love with a person. That is not really the same as friendship. Even though you might say that love or having a lover is a type of friendship, although it is close, it is intense. The feeling you have with that person is very unique. But generally speaking, friendships are quite often platonic. And again, we have another interesting word there, platonic. A platonic relationship without the romance, without all of the other things that go with it. So friendship is very different from romance. It really is very different. Friendship is the bond of knowing someone. I suppose you would describe it as a type of connection that you have with someone. Maybe a person in your life that you feel close to. But as I've said already, it is not love as such. It is not love. It is a connection you have with someone, and I suppose the simplest way of putting friendship into words is to say it is a close relationship without the other things. However, friendship can feel as strong as love. I suppose it is possible to love your friend, to be close to that person, to feel as if you can trust that person, which of course is something we will look at a little bit later on. Friendship is the bond of knowing someone well, a connection between two or more people as a group, for example. So friends will get together in a group. Two people can be friends. Lots of people can be friends together. They have something to share, something in common. And I think this is the main reason why friendships are hard to find or to create, because sometimes you need to have a thing in common, something that joins you together, an interest, a hobby, something you are keen on. So that is one of the reasons why friendships are hard to make. However, and a lot of people say this these days, even though we have many opportunities to meet other people, however, it would seem that finding a friend is not as easy as one might think. Making friends is not a simple thing to do. And I think it is true. I think a lot of people will agree with this, that making new friends is hard. It is not an easy thing to do. However, I suppose it's also important to mention dating. Dating, you are looking for a person to have a loving relationship with, an intimate relationship. That, of course, is different. Friendships are strong connections with other people. Making friends is not as simple, or it is not a simple thing to do. We often talk about chemistry in a friendship. Chemistry, the way things react to each other. People, we don't always get along. We don't always find a mutual understanding. People quite often do not agree on things. We often talk about chemistry in a friendship. Some people go together or get along better than others do. They have a certain chemistry. And you do notice this in all types of relationships. You notice that people do seem, or certain people seem to get along with other people very well. They seem to have a very close connection. And we often describe this as chemistry. They work together very well. It is often said that making new friends is easier when a person is younger. Maybe you have your own opinion about this, but I think it is fair to say that as you get older, as you become older, as your experiences of life gather, as you go through life, you might look back and realize that it was much easier to make friends when you were younger than when you are older. Young people find it easier to make friends with each other. I remember as a child, even though I didn't have lots of friends as a child, I did make friends with people. I had close friends when I was young. But I have to say, I never really thought about it. I was never conscious that I was making friends. It seemed to be a very easy thing to do. Young people find it easier to make friends with each other. And I always find that to be a very interesting observation. It might be harder to find new friends and acquaintances as you get older. The acquaintance is a person you know, maybe not closely. So you know that person, you don't know them well, you are not close friends. You are someone that you know generally in life. So maybe you don't know much about that person, maybe you don't have much information about that person, however, you still have contact with them. Friends and acquaintances. But as you get older, I think it does become harder. Definitely, it becomes harder to make new friends. Friends come and go. There are many reasons for this, and I think it is one of the hardest facts of life that people have to accept is as you get older, as you go through life, people will come into your life and you think they will be there forever, and then they fade away, they go off, they disappear. Slowly, over time, this normally happens. Circumstances change over time. Maybe two people who are together when they are young, they have no real connections with anything else. So you are together. However, as we all get older, we find our different interests. So maybe you drift apart. Your friendship fades as you find your own ways in life. Circumstances can change, people move on. Again, an interesting phrase. To move on, of course, is to proceed with your life. You go forward. There is always something new to find, to explore, to discover. So friendships change as individuals also change their outlook on life. It might be a nice thing, it might be something that people don't like to consider. But I think friendship, even now, even in this day and age, it is still very difficult to find that perfect friend. As you get older, maybe distrust is a reason. The reason why we find it hard to find friends as we get older is because we lose trust in other people. We wish to be more isolated. Perhaps you don't want to make friends with anyone. There are certain people who hate being near other people. Misanthropic. A misanthropic person is someone who does not like being near other people. You describe that person as a misanthrope. They are misanthropic. They do not like being near other people. So I think it is true, it is fair to say that as you get older, it can be difficult to make new friends. And of course, some people are very lucky because they can go through their whole life and they have friends around them who they've known for years. It always fascinates me how people can stay in touch with those they went to school with, classmates. I think in this country, in the UK, it is unusual to keep in touch with your school friends. Quite often people will drift apart and do other things. But I do know in other countries, the bond that is shared between people who went to school together can be very strong. And it is, once again, another fascinating part of this crazy thing we call life. So I don't think friendships are easy to find, even nowadays, because we have so many opportunities to meet and discover new people. And even now, it's still hard. One thing that is good is this, because this allows us all to come together and share one thing in common, which is our love of the English language. And that is what we are doing, by the way, at the end of this month. 2 weeks from today, we are going to be together in London, if you would like to come along. The 31st of May, 2026, Sunday, we are meeting up in London. If you are in the UK, maybe you want to come and meet not only me, but also Mr. Steve as well, and lots of other English addicts. Then you will have the chance to do it. We will also be celebrating our 20 years of doing this. Can you believe it? I've been doing this on YouTube for nearly 20 years. I know, it seems impossible, but it is true. We'll take a quick break, and then coming up after this, we are going to play the game that a lot of people seem to enjoy taking part in. And that thing is the Guess the Picture idiom. So all of that coming up in a moment, right after this. We had the sheep earlier, and there you saw the cows.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun.
Surely one of the best things about living in the countryside is having all this lovely nature around you. If you live in the countryside, you will know exactly what I mean. You never know what you are going to find next. We have lots of interesting birds coming into the garden at the moment. Over the past couple of weeks, we've had lots of jackdaws. The jackdaw is a type of crow, smaller than the large crows, with a much shorter beak. However, there are lots of them at the moment, so we do have lots of jackdaws coming into the garden, and I have a feeling that they might be feeding their babies. So we are playing the game that everyone loves to play. We are going to have 2 rounds of Guess the Picture idiom. That is coming up right now. Here we go then. Guess the picture idiom. How many different types of cows do you have, Mr. Duncan, near you? There are many different breeds of cow near where I live. Lots of different shapes, sizes, colours. One of my favourites is the Highland cow, which has very long hair. They are normally brown in colour. In fact, I have featured them quite a few times on the live chat. Here we go then. We have the picture idiom. I'm going to show you a picture on the screen, and it is relating to a well-known idiom in the English language, a phrase or something we say quite often in English. So here is today's first mystery picture idiom. Oh! This is also relating to an animal. We seem to be showing lots of animals on today's live stream. So here it is. This is a well-known expression, maybe something that is disappointing, something that does not reach your expectations. When we talk about expectations, it is the thing that you hope will happen. Maybe you are going to a show and you have lots of enthusiasm for that particular thing. You really want it to be good. Ooh, you are excited. But then when you see it, you are slightly disappointed. It is not as good as you thought it would be. You feel slightly disappointed because that particular thing was a bit of a something that lets you down, something that is not as good as you think it would be. A disappointing event, a thing that is not as exciting as you thought it would be. We have answers coming through. Valentin, thank you Valentin for your guess. Also Christina as well. So this is an idiom, a phrase we often use when we are talking about something that is not as good as it should be. Something that is disappointing, something that might let you down. It makes you feel disappointed. You describe that thing as that. That particular phrase is what we use. Thank you, Valentin. Thank you, Beatrice. Also Christina as well. I will give you the answer in a moment, but I will give you time also to think of what the answer could be. So generally speaking, we use this particular phrase when something happens, something that is not as good as you thought it was going to be. Have you ever been to a concert or a show and you expected it to be really exciting and enjoyable? But when you get there or after the show, you feel let down by it. Lewis, it has not got a leg to stand on. That is a very good guess. A very good guess. Thank you also, Joseph, for your question about the cows. Thank you very much. I will give you the answer on the screen. A few of you got it right. Well done. Congratulations. Here is the answer. Something is a lame duck. We describe it as a lame duck. Maybe a person who is putting themselves forward in a certain position. So quite often, especially these days, see, when growing up, I would often see the lame duck as something that was disappointing and not very good. However, officially, a failed politician or someone with authority but has no useful future. So when we talk about politics, quite often we will describe that person as a lame duck. However, I have heard this phrase used in other ways as well. When something is not good, when something is disappointing, when it has no purpose or use. A failed official with no useful future. Quite often leaders, I'm not saying anything else, leaders who no longer have any authority or they have no useful future might be described as a lame duck. So at least a person who has no future, maybe they are carrying out a certain task, they are in a position. We can also use the word for something that's disappointing as a damp squib as well. I think that was suggested a couple of weeks ago on one of my other picture idioms. So a thing that disappoints you generally can be described as a damp squib, but I have also heard this used before to describe something disappointing. However, a failed official with no useful future, maybe we can say lame duck president or lame duck prime minister. Steady, Mr. Duncan, you are almost being too topical. So there it was, today's first picture idiom, something that serves very little purpose or something disappointing. It was a bit of a lame duck, something that promises something amazing but does not deliver it. Here's another one. Are you ready for this particular picture idiom? I can see what's happening on the live chat. I can see what is happening. I am not getting involved in any political discourse or conversation or anything to do with that. Here's another one. This one might be funny or it might not, depending on what you think of the subject. Here is the next one. This is a picture idiom that we often use for a certain state or situation. What is that? What is the picture idiom? If you think you know what it is, please let me know on the live chat. So this is today's final picture idiom. It is a phrase we use quite often when a person is in a certain state or condition. So just say what you see. I think this is a very good example of say exactly what you see on the screen. If you think you know the answer, please let me know on the live chat. But this is one that we often use when we describe a person who may not be around anymore for certain reasons. Maybe a person who is no longer alive. Oh, Mr. Duncan. If you are in a difficult situation, maybe it refers to that. Well, you are right. Because if you are in this particular condition, it is definitely difficult. But the good news is you won't care about it. You definitely won't care. Oh, very interesting. We have some interesting answers coming through. Mr. Duncan, your feet are under the ground. Very close, very near. That's a good answer. A very good answer. They are all right feet or left feet, depending on which way you are looking. However, that has nothing to do with the answer to this question. It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. Beatrice says, I know the phrase in Spanish, but not in English. Don't worry, I will give you the answer. The answer is coming up on the screen in a moment, so do not worry. I will not leave you hanging around. Here is the mystery idiom before we go. This is the last one today. The answer is... It's not a very happy one, unfortunately. 6 feet under. But what does it mean? To be dead and buried. A person is no longer alive. They are 6 feet under. So we often describe the situation where a person is no longer alive. Is he still alive? No. He's 6 feet under. They are no longer alive. To be dead and buried, a person is no longer alive. We describe them as being 6 feet under. As you can see, the picture shows 6 feet under the ground. And that is how you play the game. So there it was. Today's rather grim mystery idiom. Christina says 6 feet is around 180 centimetres. Well, I think it's slightly more than that because I am just over 6 feet in height. So I am around 164. Around 164. Sorry, 184 centimetres. in height. I'm going now. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It has been fun. And I, of course, will be back with you next week. Don't forget, the week after next, we are live in London. The only thing I am hoping, and it is a big wish, I am keeping my fingers crossed that the weather stays nice, because we've had a lot of rain over the past few days. So I am really hoping that the weather in London will be super for our big rendezvous that is taking place. And I will put it on the screen again, just in case you missed it earlier. Here it is. The English Addict Rendezvous is taking place in London. Sunday, the 31st of May, is when it is happening. So I hope you will be able to join us for that. I am going now. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Of course, I am with you every week from 2 p.m. UK time. So don't forget that. Don't forget, I am with you every week. Next week and the week after, we will be live from London. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you, Mohammed Jamil, who says, Mr. Duncan, we always appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much. I am glad to hear that. I will see you later. And of course, I hope you have a good week. Stay happy. Stay healthy, please. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the live chat. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget, if you want to subscribe, you are more than welcome to subscribe. All you have to do is click the button and the bell as well. And you will never miss any of my live streams ever again. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care of yourselves, please. And I really mean that. Ta-ta for now.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun. Say goodbye to Duncan and all the lovely words and phrases of the English language. Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat and discover all the words and phrases of the English language. Learn together and have fun. Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat.